And ultimately it is, if you are in survival mode, you're going to need to do certain things to get out of it. And often it is doing the things that you think are only going to happen after you're done with survival mode. Hey everybody, welcome to Leader Lab. This is Leadership Shorts, quick thoughts to help you level up your leadership. My name is Chad Wright. I'm the founder of Forward Partners, and I am joined as always by my partner in podcasting, Emily Grace Deal. Emily Grace Deal, what are we talking about today?
That was so intense.
That was really, the deal, I hit the deal a little hard. I'm sorry about that.
It's okay. I have a quote.
Okay, let's hear the quote.
My mission in life is not merely to survive, but to thrive, and to do so with some passion, some compassion, some humor, and some style. Said by Maya, I cannot even speak today.
You want me to do it? I'm a little intense on names. Let me try it. Maya Angelou.
Thank you.
I wonder if her name's ever been said like that before.
I hope so.
God bless Maya Angelou. I love this idea that, it's not just about survival, it's about thriving. And here's what I think is really interesting is the recipe for thriving is right here in this quote.
Right.
And it is to show up with some passion, some compassion, some humor, some style. Like, that's how we begin to thrive. But I think we get it flipped. I think we flip it and think, well, once I'm thriving, then I can have these things.
Yeah.
But the reality is choosing these things is the path to thriving.
Mm-hmm.
And this, again, we'll point back to past episodes. We did an episode on how do we escape survival mode, because we work with a lot of organizations that are just in survival mode. And they're just trying to get through each day, each week, each quarter. They're not really thriving.
Yeah.
And part of escaping that really is doing the things that you think you absolutely can't do until you're out of survival mode. It's those things that will get you out. And so I find it interesting that we have to kind of assess, how do we want to get out of this towards thriving?
Right.
It's doing the things that are right here in this quote. So I find that quote very, very interesting for that reason. I think one of the questions for leaders when we talk about these ideas is, are you stuck in survival mode or are you actually thriving? And that's again, it's not a binary thing. It's not a checkbox of, oh, I'm thriving now, I'm done. It's an ongoing self-awareness of how am I doing? Where am I at? Am I trapped in this?
Yeah, I think my favorite piece of this is, I think one of my big parts is just finding joy even whenever I'm struggling. And so I think that's where I love that she's listed these things out, where it's passion, compassion, humor, and style. And it's adding what are the things, these are the things that to her she needed to have that thrive in her life. And I think it's really kind of also just finding what those things are for you too. Yeah. These are good pieces that worked really well for her. And I think that it works for, you just got to find what your recipe is. Yep.
And it's interesting, too, because I think one of the, when you think about being trapped in survival mode, one of the keys we talked about in that episode is you got to have hope that it's possible to escape, right?
Right.
Most people think, well, once I escape, I'll have hope. And you're right, she's very, very similar here of these are the things I need in order to thrive. It's not thriving that causes these, it's these that causes the thriving. Right. When we look at that list there, passion, compassion, humor, style, as a means to thriving, what on that list jumps out at you of those four things?
It really is that humor piece, having joy and having some humor.
That's the piece, right?
And being able to, or also having fun recording. So I think that does stand out to me, but having that.
It has been a day.
Yeah. Second definitely comes to compassion and being able to not be then pass your struggle to other people and being able to have some compassion and not just judge them based on where you're at.
Well, given my only ever wearing black shirts in my life, I think style's clearly mine. But actually I think it's passion. I think to me the thing that resonates the most, that helps me move towards thriving, is passion. It is passion for, again, I think we always notice themes in these groups of episodes we record. And I think there was a real theme over the last 20 episodes we've done about passion and love and care and just I'm deeply passionate about what we do. And so when I'm struggling, when I'm in survival mode, I try to get back in touch with that passion and that ability to say, we are doing some great, great things. And that gets me out of survival more towards thriving.
Right.
And so I think that it's very common for leaders to get trapped.
That's the thing that drives you. So if you're able to connect with it, then it gives you the the hope and ability to keep going.
That's it. And ultimately it is, if you are in survival mode, you're going to need to do certain things to get out of it. And often it is doing the things that you think are only going to happen after you're done with survival mode. And so it's just understanding that and seeing that. And I think really assessing where you at in survival mode. If you are there, what are the things that are going to get you out? What on this list of 4 things, passion, compassion, humor, and style, what is it that really resonates with you?
Yeah.
I would also encourage I would encourage listeners and watchers, viewers, to go back and really look at that quote as well, or that episode as well that we done about escaping survival mode.
Definitely.
I think it's very helpful. Leaders, let's talk next steps. 1, go back and watch that episode. If you were in survival mode, we got some really good frameworks for how do you escape survival mode. And think about this quote. If you are in survival mode, what is it that she lays out here from passion, compassion, humor, style? What's the thing that you look at and go, okay, I resonate with that. I can see that being my path out of survival mode. And just understand, if you are in survival mode, you're not alone. A lot of people are in that boat. And so just understanding that becomes helpful, because then you know you're not by yourself. Mm-hmm. And ultimately there is a path out of this, but it's going to require doing some things that you might think you can't do until you're out of it. It's actually going to be the way you get out of it. So if you're stuck in survival mode, reach out for help. Watch that episode. See what you can do to develop a framework to get out of it. If people want to send us quotes just like this, where do they send that to?
To lab@forwardpartners.net.
Lab@forwardpartners.net. If they want to find us online, we're on LinkedIn, Facebook, Instagram, creating content all the time about leadership. Where do they find us?
@ForwardPartner.
@ForwardPartner. Thank you for doing this podcast.
Thank you.
John, thank you for producing. And thank you, viewers, for watching, for listening, and for sharing this with fellow leaders. We deeply appreciate it. And we'll see you next time right here in the Leader Lab.